Welcome to the Daily Jerry Anderson podcast, which begins today with the presenter denigrating men who have become national institutions. Has he no sense of public duty? No. I was just talking about Jarvis Cocker and Stephen Fry, our national institutions, and it just goes to show you, how off the mark I am. I can't stand either of those two people. Now, Jarvis Cocker, for instance, he wrote Common People. Now, he was the guy who stood up and disgraced, made a public show of Michael Jackson when he appeared at some awards a number of years ago. He stood up and showed his bum to the people. And I thought that was a terrible thing because Michael Jackson's a truly talented person, was a truly talented person. And for somebody like Jarvis Cocker to get up there and slag him, I thought that was very bad. I've never been able to think. I feel the same way towards him as I feel towards Ryan Tubridy. See him being cheeky to Christy Moore the other night? Did you see that?
No, you said that. I didn't see it. Didn't check it out.
I can't wait to talk to Christy.
I want to tell the people what you tried to do this morning.
No, don't, please.
I will.
All right.
I'm going to tell the people.
Okay, let's preface. Let's preface this because of the conversation that we had yesterday. We went out of our way to examine Ken's breakfast today. Because he appeared to, I think he arrived in early with his breakfast as an act of defiance. See, we've never seen his breakfast. What happens is, whenever we go on the air, Ken gets his breakfast and eats it privately, like a little miser in a corner so nobody sees him. But because we were talking about him yesterday, and I think he heard this because he made a couple of veiled references to it, he went out early and he got his breakfast and he came in here with it about 10:15 at a time when he knew that we'd be in the kitchen talking not about the programme.
He brought his breakfast in a polystyrene container.
In a polystyrene container.
Yes.
And we stood around and looked at his sausage.
No, you did. You tried to steam.
I admired his sausage.
Yes.
I wanted his sausage.
Yes.
I wanted it.
And
But he wouldn't give it to me.
A fight ensued where Ken was grabbing his polystyrene box and you were trying to pull it out of his hands to take his sausage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But see, Ken's a strong wee bugger. And I was unable to remove the sausage from his grasp.
Yeah.
And then he sat there and he curled his arm around it, like an animal.
Yes.
And then he just ate it all, and he has potato bread and everything.
And annoyed you.
And knowing that we were going down to broadcast, and knowing the condition of the levels, knowing that the levels may not have been right, he sat there and he smiled and ate his fried egg, and the yolk went down his chin.
Yes.
And I said to myself, is this what we're depending on the BBC these days? I said to myself. And he wouldn't even give me a bit of his sausage. Now, I didn't want the whole sausage, although I wanted the whole sausage at the start. But I would have been content with just a bit of it. But he wouldn't. He wouldn't part. Animal husbandry has always been high on the list of must-do topics on this morning's show, and today proves no exception. Coilus Interruptus seems unsure of his ground as he ages forward a listener's query about congress between two sheep-like animals. Go on, tell me. I want to know what the question is before I pose it to Geordie. Tell me what it is. Come on. Come on.
Ask Geordie how do you bring a sheep on for mating?
Such a simple question.
No, it's not.
Animal husbandry. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?
I don't like that.
I know you don't like it, but it's life. It's
but
look around you. How do you bring a sheep on for what?
Mating.
What is that the exact wording?
Yes.
How do you bring a sheep on for mating?
Mating.
I know what mating is.
What is just making? Sorry.
No, I know what mating is.
Yeah, I know you.
Is your fella still working? Yeah.
I know you do.
I know.
Well, how do you bring a sheep on? I mean, who would know that?
Bring it on.
Who would know?
Just bring it on.
What do you mean?
In other words, what the person's, how do you know when a sheep is ready?
How do you bring it on?
Bring it on.
How?
I don't know what the term means, bring it on.
It means, how do you...
What?
Right.
Come on.
All right, a sheep is in a field, right? And he's eating away at his grass, right? He's munching away. And the last thing she's thinking of...
This how's your father's and mother's still working.
So how do you...
That's like a girl sitting having her breakfast.
How do you get the sheep to think about the old...
No, you don't get the sheep to think at all. You just bring the ram in and say, go get him. No. And then, midway through the mouthful...
Do you know where a goat waggles...
Stop it, yes.
A goat waggles its tail.
Yeah.
So how do you get a sheep to waggle its
I don't
tail?
know. Perhaps we'd get Geordie on.
Exactly. That's why I don't know either.
So what do we know? We're just silly boys.
Yeah. Did you ever touch a ram's horn?
Not recently, no.
Did you?
No.
I had reason to do that many...
What was the reason? No, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the prospect of you having a reason to do it.
I know.
What reason did you have?
I was out walking... And I had one of my children with me, and we spotted this ram, and his horns were all entangled in wire.
Yes.
And he couldn't get out. And all the other sheep or animals, they sort of gathered round, looking at him.
Sheep are not very forceful.
No. And they were looking at the plight of this poor boy, and he was pulling and tugging and hauling. And I said to my daughter, I said, oh, look at the poor wee sheep, and he's all trapped.
You're on the horns of a dilemma there.
Exactly.
Because, I mean, how are you going to know how the ram was going to react once you went over and placed your hand upon its horn?
Exactly. So I had to be the big daddy boy in front of the daughter, you see. So I said to my daughter, I said, you stand here now, right? And
I'll deal with this ram.
I was petrified.
I'm sure you were.
And the boy was tugging away, and I was...
Angry to you. He would have been mad.
What I was worried about was he might have hit me a good dunter up there. You know, when I was finished...
Jaxie, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I was wondering, how do I get out of the field away from this boy?
The problem is, once you free the ram, how do you get out of there?
Yes.
That would have been my first port of call.
That's what But I freed him.
Did he appreciate it?
He scarpered away the brute. Never even said thanks.
Never even send you a note.
No.
See, rams are like that. Thoughts turn to personal body insulation as the presenter ponders reliable reports of recent heavy snowfalls in New York. He is therefore keen to discuss this topic with anyone he can find to talk about it. Do you ever take any precautions? Do you ever take anything?
No, just
thermal underwear?
Wrap up warm, and then the generosity of the people keep me warm.
What about the thermal underwear? Did you ever try that?
Oh, plenty of that on.
It's great, isn't it?
Oh, you need that.
Oh, you do. The worst thing about thermal underwear is when you put... I remember putting a thermal vest on one time, and then you forget about it.
Never had a thermal vest.
Did you not?
No.
Well, can I just say this to you?
Yeah.
It's snowing in New York. If I were you, I would get a thermal vest and bring it with you and put it on you, because I've got two, and I'm going to wear the two of them. And I'm not giving you one.
I don't want your thermal vest.
Yes, you will. I don't want your thermal vest. I don't want your filthy vest. No, I'll tell you what. You'll want it when you stand on that Verrazano Bridge on Sunday morning.
I'll not be on the bridge.
Yes, you will. And the wind will be going. The wind will be going. Do you want to hear the wind?
Are you wearing longs? Are you wearing wee shorts? Will you have wee short legs on you?
I will have little short legs when I start to race. Before that, I will be well covered. Do you want to hear the snow? Snow's going like that.
Heavy snowstorm.
You'll want your thermal vest, and you'll say to me, why didn't I take that thermal vest that you asked me for? Have you got two on? I'll say yes. Go on, give us one. I'll say no.
So all I have to do is describe where you are. I can stand in a shop, at a coffee shop.
Mickey Bradley will make sure that you're there, because you're here at the behest of the BBC, and you must not lie in your hotel in bed whilst the two of us are frowning.
I can describe what's going on from the inside of a coffee
I'll let the
store.
listeners decide. What is happening is, listeners, that we are doing our radio programme on Monday morning live from New York, which means, Charlie, caretaker person,
Yes.
I'll be back with you in a moment.
I'll not be on the bridge.
It's very important that I make this
I'll
point
not be
clear.
allowed on the bridge.
You will be allowed on the bridge because
not.
you have a media pass. There's no answer to that. Mr. Bradley has got you one. He didn't get me one. But that's a different story. I won't be allowed on the bridge. I have to be there to have six. I may be lying there like a corpse by the time you two arrive. A row breaks out between the presenter and Interruptus over a restaurant bill from years ago. The presenter remembers the incident well and listens whilst Interruptus lies about the eventual outcome. A certain amount of parsimony is passed over. Whenever I'm with someone I don't know particularly all that well, particularly someone I've never eaten with before, if I'm with them.
Like me.
Well, I've eaten with you before. I know your habits. I wouldn't do that with you because I know that I'm on a hiding to nothing when it comes to the bill. Anyway, when people
come...
come...
Do you remember the last meal we had?
Yeah, you gave me the bill. You thought I was your wife.
No. Do you remember
You thought
that?
You think that whoever you're eating with should pay for it.
No, do you not remember?
What was it?
The fight, the row.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, you wouldn't pay for your meal.
I paid for my meal. That was the whole point of it.
No, but you wouldn't pay for it.
I wouldn't.
Initially refused to pay for it.
No, I did not. I ordered from the menu.
Yes.
You insisted on me eating. It was a Sunday. Do you remember it?
Yeah.
Where was it?
I don't remember where.
Well, who was there?
I don't know who was there.
You say you don't remember the story at all.
I don't care. Go on, tell me what the story is. I'll believe you. I trust you.
Jim Brown and his wife.
Yeah, there. Right. So.
And we were sitting in the restaurant.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
And
you said I'm good to eat. And you ordered. And he said to me, you said to me, are you eating? And I says, no, I'm not. No, I've had my dinner.
But you had before you left.
Show.
You're the type of person that has his dinner before he goes to the restaurant.
I had my dinner at home, and then we were doing a show at 8 o'clock at night, and I sat at home. You were in Belfast, and then I forget where we were, Newcastle or someplace, and I left home after my tea, and I drove to the venue. But you were in the restaurant, and you were having a meal.
Yes.
And you said to me, "Do you want something?" And I said, "No, I've had my dinner. I'm all right." You said to me, "It'll be a long time before you eat. You know, it's only like 7 o'clock now, the show, and by the time you get home, it'll be the wee small hours of the morning. You'll be hungry." And I said, "Well, that's good advice."
Just trying to look after you.
And you said, "If I were you, I would eat something."
Yeah.
And you handed me the menu. I want you to listen to this, Emma, and you decide. You decide. Okay.
All right, Emma, you decide. I don't actually remember this.
You see,
so I don't know what's coming.
I have a man in Belfast listening to as well, who was there.
A witness?
Yes.
You planned this?
No, the man. Jim Brown.
That's okay.
Right? So he's listening to as well, hopefully.
Right, okay.
Right? So I look at the menu and I said, "Well, I don't know what to eat." I said, there's what I'll have. I'll have chicken Maryland.
Something small.
Yes, because I had my dinner. I had my tea.
Just a snack then. Chicken Maryland.
Chicken Maryland.
Yeah.
You see? Chicken Maryland, $9.95.
See, he remembers exactly how much it was, Emma.
Exactly.
Make note of this.
Because it's important. It's important. Right?
Okay.
And so the bill came down, and you look at the bill and you say it was 43 quid or something. He orders a steak.
Yeah, of course.
And he has a dessert. He has
everything.
He's everything. All right,
everything,
starters. And he's all the wee side things, all the vegetables, and all this. You see
everything, Emma.
right? And the both of us come to. So he says to me, he says, "Right, that's £28 or whatever you owe me." And I says, "Why?" He says, "Half the bill." I said, "But sir, all I got is chicken Maryland." He said, "It's half the bill. That's what you do in restaurants. You go half."
Yes, that's
And
what
I
you
says,
do.
"There is a tenner for chicken Maryland."
You see, Emma, how mean is that?
No.
Come on, Emma. Look, he's standing beside, he's sitting beside you, and I know you're
Emma
intimidated.
says you made me eat.
I know, but the point is...
Now, at this point, I said to him, "Wait, so I think he's joking." And I get up from the table and leave £10 there. What does he do? And Jim Brown and his wife, Anne-Marie, are witnesses. What does he do? He ran to the door of the restaurant.
I think I'm going to let him away with that.
And blocked the door. He says, "You're not getting out of here. Do you give me more money?" And there are people sitting eating saying, "What's going on here?"
I was adamant.
All right?
Yeah.
I eventually got out. And I said, "Look, the money's in there. There's £10 in there. Go
Not
in."
enough, I said.
Not enough. He followed me out to the reception area. And another witness, I forgot, Malachy Cush. Malachy Cush was on the bill, and Malachy hears us arguing in front of the receptionist. And he's telling the receptionist about his plight. He won't pay half this bill. And I said, "But all I owe is a tenner." And Malachy comes up. Malachy says, "What's wrong, boys? Are you short?" And I said, "No, Malachy." And I started to tell Malachy the story. And the receptionist is involved. Malachy is involved. Jim Brown and his wife are involved.
Okay, let's
And
involve Emma. Emma, I want you to
Wait
say...
a minute
No,
now.
stop it. No, I'm finished now.
This is where Malachy Cush comes in. Malachy Cush says, "Here, boys." And Malachy threw it, pulls £10 out of his pocket.
Very nice of him, I
And says to
thought.
the receptionist, "Take that £10 off the bill to see if it'll sort this row out." And I grabbed the money back of the receptionist. I said, "No, Malachy, this has nothing to do with you."
You took the money and ran up to your room.
I gave the money to poor Malachy, and Malachy didn't know what to do. Jim Brown standing laughing at the whole thing.
This is the way Jim Brown laughs. Roy Walker appeared on Northern Ireland television last night. It's been a long time, and the viewers were no doubt intrigued as to what he was doing on the show. We don't know either.
When Roy was talking about his favourite painting,
What was that?
it was the Wainwright.
The Wainwright?
Yeah, it should have reminded him when he was a wee boy.
Is that by Constable? There you see. It's Constable. Go ahead. Sir.
Should remind him of when he was a wee boy.
There you see, remind him when he's a wee boy.
And also, he was talking about his favourite book. Do you know what his favourite book is?
No idea.
Catcher in Your Eye. And it wasn't,
Why would he read that?
That's,
It's wrong. You can't imagine Roy Walker reading that.
It's a great book.
Did they say anything more about it?
No, it's all he said. He said, if you haven't read it, you should read it.
J.D. Salinger?
Yeah, you should
Didn't I?
scrape. And then he was discussing his favourite piece of music.
Which was what?
It was from Phantom of the Opera.
It's very good. It's
And
wonderful.
he loved it. He loved it. It was very good. Like, but
Why was he doing this?
it was. I don't know. He was sitting on a settee, and then they asked him these questions.
Why did they set somebody else in the settee? Why did they put him in the settee and ask him those
But
questions?
they asked him to do Mr. Chips, say what you see, Roy, say what you see, and they put the wee cartoons up for the wee.
There's no need to do that.
But I don't know whether Roy was pretending. Right, I'm going to tell you. I'll describe what he saw. Right,
Go ahead.
Right. So it's say what you see, fastest finger first, and all that.
Fastest
kind of-
finger first.
or whatever it
Right.
is. Buzz in, just buzz in. There's no bell. There's no bell. Just you know what I mean. There's a drawing, right? A little girl, a woman, right? And you've got to name the painting, right?
Yes.
Okay. And she's crying. What's the painting?
Whistler's mother.
No.
What?
Whistler's mother.
What?
I think about it, right?
Little girl crying.
The badge said Lisa.
Right. What?
See the name badge that said Lisa.
Did it?
Aye.
On the painting?
Aye.
Oh, I didn't even see that. Sorry, Emma's talking to me in the background.
I heard
here.
her, yeah.
Right. Anyway,
Shit, I know you should talk more.
you know.
I mean,
right?
you should talk more.
So there's a girl, and she's crying,
Yes.
and she's got a little name badge on, and the little name badge says Lisa.
Yeah.
What's the painting?
Mona Lisa.
Roy Walker didn't get it. He couldn't buzz in, and I wondered, does he? Right. And another one. There's another one. There's a little cartoon, little chap coming out of the fish and chip shop, and he's carrying a fish supper.
Yeah.
And there's a big arrow saying last. Name
Yeah.
the painting.
I think it might be The Last Supper.
Roy didn't get it.
Thank you for listening. Back tomorrow.